building architecture is rhetoric, you know. You may fall in rhetoric very easily. And rhetorical buildings are empty. They are not real. This is where making building is difficult. Anyway, I don't want to say too much about that. That's another of my friends. Dancing. Here, this as well was an adventure. You know, it was a long adventure. And I was there this May last year, a few months ago, because it was the 10th anniversary, and the wood that is Iroko turned gray. The Iroko is a kind of teak, but Iroko is a wood that is recyclable in the sense that you find new trees, and so it's not something that falls in the trap of non-renewable. But it's great because it gets oxidated and it becomes gray and becomes unreal. This is back to the south of Italy, not far from here, in Puglia, and this is the construction of a church that we made for Padre Pio in San Giovanni Rotondo. I show this because this is about a church that doesn't look like a church, well, but it's quite a church, and it's actually made of stone. And stone is a great material. It was also a great construction. All those arches are made of stone. And this was a site visit, you see, in the little hut. And this lady is my wife. I keep doing this sort of thing. And then, but she was quite happy, a bit worried, but happy. And for me, visiting a site is still one of the most beautiful things you can do. A site is a miracle. A site is when you transform something into something else. It's about changing things. I was this morning again and yesterday on our site there at Faliro, the site here at the end of Sigru, on the sea, the old hippodrome. That is where we built the Stavros Niarchos foundation building there, the new opera and the new library. And I was thinking about that miracle. Today is just a desert land. And, well, tomorrow not, but the day after tomorrow will become a place full of people. That's a miracle. That's something. Well, this is another view of the church. And this is inside. Well, you can recognize the arches. Back to music. This is in Rome. This is a room, a concert room for 2,800 people. That is the maximum you probably can put. This is about this size, I guess. And that was also a great adventure. It's about music. It's working with musicians. Best friends are musicians. I spend my time with musicians. I wanted to be a musician. I can't, so I love to spend time with musicians. Instead of making music, I make instruments to make music or to enjoy music. That's an external space. We don't call agora, because here we are in Rome. We talk a cavea, that is the same word of agora. But the meaning is the same. And I show this because I want to make an agora in our job here. I think it's a great idea to make music in the opera, in the black box that we will build there, here, but it's also a great idea to make music outdoor, in the nature, especially if you can actually work out the external shape in such a way that the sound doesn't go away. But the reason why I'm showing this picture is more really to say that what I love is the idea that culture is part of society, is part of the enjoyment. It's not something closed, it's not something separated from life, from urbanity. They are the same thing. And this is not sacrilegious. This is not taking down culture to something less interesting. This is actually making culture accessible to everybody, even to those people that normally are not attracted. And those people are 3,000 people sitting there. And this As I said before, I'm sorry. I take you on the ride because I think complexity and difference, diversity is part of the story, is part of being architect. This is in Bern, and this is the museum we made for Paul Klee. And this is the site. I said before, a site has already the beginning of the scheme. When you go in the site and you observe, you can see, actually, for me, that site was already Paul Klee. Paul Klee was born in Bern. And this is the shape of the building. This is the building from the back. Is actually movement of the land. Somebody talked about land art. Is that the building is actually coming down, touching ground, going up again. This is during construction. And this is the building. This is another concert hall that we made. Paul Klee was a musician as well. And the museum, the Paul Klee Museum in Bern, makes music. So this is a room for 400 people. Pierre Boulez, that is a friend, because we worked with Pierre Boulez a long time ago on Niarchos in Paris. Then we became friends. Was the one, the musician that started to use this. And Maurizio Pollini, the pianist, that is also a good friend, actually played piano there the first time. It's a space for music that is flexible. It's a space where you can tune the sound. So it becomes really like an harmonic chamber that is a bit like an instrument that you have to tune. And this is another thing, still in the same building, in the Paul Klee Museum in Bern. This is for children. I love the idea that museums are open, accessible, understandable. They are not mysterious places, hermetic. They're places that you understand, you enjoy, you can feel, you can see through. That's why Beaubourg, a long time ago, was a kind of revolution, because it was like breaking the walls and opening to the society. This is a nice lady crossing the bridge. And this is in New York, Madison Avenue, between 17th and 18th Street. And this is the Morgan Library. Morgan Library in New York is a very famous institution for rare book. We did that, I don't know, it was finished 3 or 4 years ago. This is the place where I met the first time Andreas Dracopoulos to dream about our job here. It's a nice, great, small building. And again, it's about transparency. You see, here we are on Madison, and you see through. You see through. Transparency. This is the concept for the building. We actually dig down a lot, about 15, 20 meters sometimes, and we actually made the new building going down. And the storage for the rare book are underground. But on surface, this is the plan. This is the old building, old for New York. This is for 1850. Nothing compared to Athens or Rome, but for them, it's like the Acropolis. And this was done in 1905. This was done in 1920. So those 3 buildings were absolutely untouchable, historically masterpiece. And we got to build this. And this was actually cut inside. This is the reading room. Well, of course, it's a very classic reading room. Nothing to do with the one we made in Beaubourg or the one we will make here. But it's a reading, and this is a concert hall, a small concert hall for 300 people, small, but very important because this is also an institution where they play music. The idea of mixing library and music, I think, is a great idea. I think it's a great idea to mix everything. Well, not everything, but Beaubourg was good because it was a mixing different disciplines.